Welcome to this video clip from Beyond Video featuring the legends of drag racing in action. See Ronnie Sox, Dyno Don Nicholson, Bill Grumpy Jenkins, Dick Harrell, Jere Stahl, Hubert Platt, Melvin Yow, Billy West, Richard Petty, Don Grotheer, and others in action right here on the Beyond Video YouTube channel. We begin with a look at Ronnie Sox and Billy West through the lens of Bill Gusler's 8mm movie camera at Piedmont Dragway back in 1964. Well, Ronnie got the best of Billy West and the Little Pilgrim Plymouth on this day of racing at Piedmont Dragway. In 1965, Piedmont hosted Richard Petty's 43 Junior Barracuda and Dick Harrell's 427 Chevy. And as the starter leaps into the air, he sends these two drivers on into the pages of drag racing history. Well, Harrell was back at Piedmont once again, but this time he had a match race with Ronnie Sox's older wheelbase 65 Plymouth. And here we see Sox winning round one of the match race. In round two, Sox takes the outside lane, and keep an eye on him as he almost takes the starter out on that run. Woo! And in round three, Ronnie Sox will stay in his lane and take the match from Harrell 2 rounds to 1. Ronnie Sox and Don Nicholson were Cecil County's featured racers on April 3rd, 1966. On this Sunday, we're going to see two of the biggest names in drag racing run what they brung at Cecil County. Dyno Don Nicholson showed up with his revolutionary Logie chassis, camera-powered flip-top Mercury Comet, and Ronnie Sox was strapped into his injected Hemi Barracuda funny car. So let's watch this great matchup. And Dyno Don gets a win in round one. You know, these guys had a lot of respect for each other, and I had a chance to ask each of them who their toughest competitor was.
You faced a lot of really legendary drivers in your time on the track. Who was really the toughest guy when you had to come up against him back in those days?
I guess I'd have to say Ronnie Sox. Ronnie was always tough. He was always had sharp running cars. He always knew how to make the car work good, and it was always tough to buy 4-speed transmissions.
Have you ever kept a record on who won the most over those years between you and Ronnie?
I never kept a record, but I think that I had the edge on him because that was in the 66, 67, the funny cars back in those days, we won 95, 98% of our races all the way around, and very seldom got beat.
I asked him a question which I'll also ask you. I asked, who was the guy you most feared when you stepped into against the whites? And you know, Nicholson said it was you. And I'd like to know, who's the guy that you most feared out there when you had to move in the whites against someone?
Well, he's going to get about the same answer. Don was, you know, our win-loss record was real close there. He's a tough racer. He's not a 5-day-a-week racer. He's a 7-day-a-week racer. That's all he thinks about. And he's a tough man to beat. He runs a match race like he's running the Indianapolis race. That's just how serious he is about it. He takes every race serious, and he's a tough competitor.
We are going back to Piedmont Dragway in North Carolina for an October 1967 match race between Ronnie Sox and Bill Grumpy Jenkins. By 1967, the grass divider between the two race lanes was gone and replaced by asphalt from shoulder to shoulder. Now, let's check out the Sox versus Jenkins match race. Jenkins had his 396 powered Superstock C Camaro in the right lane, and Sox had his Hemi powered 67 GTX in the left lane. They also had a Superstock style match race at Piedmont where the Rebel Rouser Nova and the Pontiac Firebird were doing it just like it was 1964. Once again, thanks goes out to Bill Gusler for capturing these great shots of the Jenkins versus Sox match race. Well, even though Jenkins lost the best of 3 match race 2 straight, the Chevy fans cheered, but the biggest cheers went to the hometown team of Sox and Martin. On this day in 1967, Bill Jenkins was at Cecil County with his Superstock C Chevy Camaro. Looks like Bill is gapping a new set of spark plugs as Al Olster looks on. Now, Al is one of Jenkins' customers, and his One Step Beyond cars are very competitive in Division I. Now, also on hand was Ronnie Sox and his Superstock GTX Plymouth. Hey man, check it out. Ronnie Sox banging the gears down the track at Cecil County. Certainly Jenkins was interested in the Sox and Martin car, but his more immediate concern was with his opponent Jere Stahl and his Bill Styles prepared Hemi Plymouth. In round 1 of their matchup, both cars charge off the line, and on the top end, Stahl just nips the Camaro in the lights. And I'll tell you, this is great stuff. And you know, I have to thank the guys that provided this great movie footage for it, Jim Amos and George Curtin. You know, I can't believe these unbelievable pit shots that George Curtin took of Jenkins. Man, I'll tell you, they are classic.
Grandstand 1127, 120.24 miles an hour, 1192 on the tower side, 113.27 miles an hour. Rob Richter on the grandstand side, 69 model Z Camaro, the tower side, Al Paulin, the little double, 6 motors and
See round 2 of Jenkins versus Stahl. And you know, it really doesn't matter who won this match race. What is important is that we're able to revisit these memories of days gone by. The days of our youth and the heroes of our time. Even though Big Al Graber, Bill Lawton, Dyno Don Nicholson, Ronnie Sox, Malcolm Durham, and many others are no longer with us, their memory lives on here at Beyond Video, and we thank them for the time of our life. Our last segment in this video clip follows Bill Gustler when he travels to Englishtown, New Jersey for the 1968 NHRA Spring Nationals. We begin with Ronnie Sox and his Superstock A Hemi Cuda and Hubert Platt with his Cobra Jet Mustang. The left rear slip goes flat on Sox's Superstock A Cuda, and Hubert Platt moves on with his 68 Cobra Jet Mustang. Bill Holbrook's Mustang gets a handicap start on Melvin Yow and Sox's other car. And you know, this is the same car that took Sox to the 67 Spring Nationals title. On the top end, it's Yow with the win at 11:55 to Holbrook's 12:44. Okay, well, we're standing here with Ronnie Sox, and Ronnie, we're profiling the 1968 Spring Nationals at Englishtown, New Jersey. Now, that race had run at Bristol for several years and moved up to Englishtown, New Jersey. You remember showing up there in that New Jersey countryside back in '68?
Oh, definitely. I remember that quite well. We were campaigning 2 cars at the time. We had a 68 Superstock A Barracuda and a Superstock C Hemi Belvedere. Yeah. And Melvin Yow was driving the Superstock C car. And I got down in the eliminator. I won the class with the A car. And I made a couple of rounds in the eliminator, and I pulled up the starting line, and we had a flat tire. We rung the tube stem right out of the wheel when I did a dry burnout. Right. And so I had to get out of that car, and Melvin, he came to me. He wanted me to drive the car, the Superstock C car. I didn't ask him to get in it. He wanted to know if I would get in and finish the race.
Sox now moves into the semifinals against Bob Lambeck. And on the top end, it looks like Lambeck nails the brakes, but too soon as the wind shows up in Ronnie's lane. With the fans on their feet, we're ready to see the final in Superstock Eliminator. Now, Sox leads first and builds a lead, only have Grotheer close the gap and beat Sox to the finish line. But wait, both cars ran under the allowable 1/10 cushion. After a decision by Jack Hart, NHRA event director, Sox was declared the winner as he broke out the least. So let's go to an interview with the big winner in Superstock Eliminator, Ronnie Sox.
And I got in the Superstock D car and won the championship. Won the Eliminator on that particular day.
Well, Ronnie, I want to thank you again for all the memories, and we want to congratulate you on your big win again there at the 1967 and 68 Spring Nationals. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, here's a scene I'm sure we have all seen in the magazines. The awards ceremony where Ronnie and Buddy were joined by Patches, who served as Miss Spring Nationals for 1968. Now, I had a chance to sit down with Bill Gusler and talk with him about his trip to Englishtown back in 1968.
And you went up to the Spring Nationals in 1968, but this time it was held at Englishtown, New Jersey. Tell us about that trip.
Well, the owner of the track, or one of the owners up there, Vince Knapp, was going to college in Greensboro.
Yeah.
Had a street rod, entered the car shows up there, and I think he'd won first place. Won a 427-63 Ford complete.
Wow.
He kind of invited us up to New Jersey, a brand new track there.
Yeah.
And we drove up on a weekend and able to visit with him and get our credentials and go throughout the track up there.
Is that right?
Yeah, first year for NHRA.
Yeah, what was it like? I mean, you had been down here to Piedmont and also there at Bristol. What did you think of that track when you get up to New Jersey?
All of these tracks you were just in awe at because
Yeah.
it was, you're used to running all these little small tracks throughout the Carolinas over the years,
Yeah.
little short distances, no facilities at all. And to start going to Bristol and to Englishtown,
Yeah.
places like this.
Now, did you have a plan when you went to the racetrack when you were filming like that? Did you really, did you think about the limitations of your tape, or what really did you want to record when you got
The
there?
main limitation was the footage you had on the film. You really had to concentrate on what you were doing because you only had 50 foot on the roll there.
Right.
And you had to change it during the race and find you a shady spot to do this.
Yeah.
But
Wow.
the only preparation I do is get me plenty of film and make me a little title for the thing before I went.
Yeah, I see that. Most of your tapes, you have a title for the date and things like that about where the race was going to be.
Well, it was that way when I get to the race, I could just crank up and take off. It was ready to go. I didn't have to come back in and put the title in later.
Now, even though you didn't have a plan, you say, it seems to me that you seem to follow Ronnie Sox around with some great regularity because I see an awful lot of footage. Was he one of your favorites?
Oh, yeah, definitely was. And it's a whole lot of people followed him around on the track.
Yeah,
too.
boy, that's true. He was a popular guy. But he was a native here of this particular area, and you had some personal friendship, I guess,
Yeah,
with Ronnie.
Ronnie and myself, we went to school together. I was a little bit ahead of him there.
Mhm.
And he's always a racer, a
Yeah.
good racer, and he could do it well.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Boy, could you imagine if you would have had a videotape machine with these 2-hour tapes back then?
I would have burned it up because with a total of 50 foot, you were really limited.
Yeah.
You could only carry so much film with you, and like I said, you'd have to find you a shady spot or a bathroom. In
Right.
Bristol, you'd be in a bathroom changing film, and
Wow.
you could hear in the background what was going on, and you were missing.
Now, what's it feel like? They've been in cans for years, and now you get a chance to pull them out again and take a look at them once again. Does it bring back a lot of good memories for you?
It definitely does.
Yeah.
You add the sound to it, and you've got it there. You
Yeah.
just close your eyes, and you're back in 65.
You're back there
whatever
again.
it
Isn't
is.
it great? Well, Bill, we want to thank you very much for sharing your memories with us and for taking the time back then to put this on film and preserve it all those years. Just incredible, and we really are greatly appreciative for what you've done.
It was great to do it, and it was, like you said earlier today, it was remarkable that we just run into each other a few
Yeah.
years back,
Yeah,
just by accident, and accidents
great?
do turn out well.
no doubt.
I want to thank Bill Gusler of Greensboro, North Carolina, for providing the majority of the movie footage that has allowed us to revisit memories of the Superstock and FX era. By using a little 8mm movie camera, Bill captured this visual treasure of the stars and the cars. Bill also made some memories of his own when he won his class at an IHRA National Open at Rockingham, North Carolina in the ex-Ed Rashansky Marauders 64 AFX Comet. On the left is Bill Gusler proudly displaying the Woody Andrews Memorial Award he received at the 2011 East Coast Drag Times Hall of Fame reunion in Henderson, North Carolina. In 2020, Bill and his brother Nelson received the Pioneer Award from the North Carolina Drag Racing Hall of Fame. The award recognized the contribution of the Gusler family and their Southern Automotive auto parts and speed shop business. Sadly, Bill passed away on September the 12th, 2025 at the age of 88. I hope you will join me in cherishing his memory and the significant contribution he made to preserving the early history of drag racing. Rest in peace, my friend, and thanks for the memories.